Brooklyn Frenchak.
Sinead Savoy.
And Alexander Torres.
Hello, could you introduce yourself and your discipline?
Hello, my name is Brooklyn. I'm an elementary teacher within the Education Catholic School District. Some typical careers in this field are temporary teachers, contract teachers, educational assistants, principals, and learning coaches. Some of the careers I've considered have only been teaching in different grades, and I'm currently back in school to become a speech pathologist. Education interacts with a lot of therapists and psychologists. Many children are getting diagnosed with autism, ADHD, or struggling with learning development, so the school and the teacher tends to interact with these professions and provide critical information in order to get an accurate diagnosis.
How do learning theories from psychology help teachers shape the way they teach, and how do those ideas connect with the teaching strategies used in modern classrooms?
Teaching has changed dramatically over the years. Classrooms once focused mainly on grades and strict routines, often overlooking students' well-being. Today, there's a stronger emphasis on mental and emotional health collaboration and recognizing that success looks different for every student. Working with the grade 3 class during my temporary contract, I was able to visually see the importance of a safe and inclusive environment. Students learn best when they feel supported. They can't thrive when dealing with personal challenges. Modern classrooms focus on child development, brain health, and emotional support. Since we rarely know what students face at home, school should be their safest place. I always told my parents my goal wasn't for perfect grades, it was to help children grow into kind, empathetic individuals with real-world skills.
How can education systems inspire students to become leaders that emphasize collaboration and selflessness to build positive and inclusive environments, whether in schools, workplaces, or communities?
I believe that while not every student needs to be an Einstein, all should develop strong social skills closely tied to leadership. Students should be encouraged to lead and stay true to themselves, rather than following others just to fit in. We need to shift from if I do this, I'll be cool, to if I am myself, I am cool. Encouraging students to be their own leader rather than a follower. Teaching students to be upstanders and bucket fillers fosters empathy and responsibility. Fortunately, fewer students step up as leaders today, but you can change this if we build trust and confidence within our classrooms. Teachers can't replace parents, but we do have the power to make students feel seen and valued, an impact they'll remember for life.
Thank you.
Hello, can you introduce yourself and your discipline?
My name is Sinead. I am currently getting my degree in elementary education, but I've worked in early childhood education for the past 8 years. Typical careers that I know of in my field are becoming a teacher, whether in elementary or secondary school, or pursuing a PhD and becoming a university professor. Another career option would be being in government and working on curriculum development. I want to work as an elementary school teacher, preferably grade 1 or grade 2. I have also considered getting a master's in speech pathology and pursuing a career in that, as having an education degree is considered an asset. I want to work with children in some capacity because I get so much joy out of working with them. One of the major fields that interacts with education is healthcare. There are often behavioral therapists, speech therapists, counselors, etc., that are there to support specific students who might have learning difficulties that require extra assistance. If a child in the classroom has autism, for example, there's a good chance they are working with behavior therapists and speech therapists to create a learning plan that can include them in a regular classroom while meeting sensory needs they may have.
Based off of question 1, what is your response?
I think psychology plays an important role for teachers and should be part of the required subjects you take in your education degree, especially developmental psychology, since teachers are working with children and young adults. In the classroom, students will encounter many situations that might cause them distress, whether it is not understanding a learning concept or not getting along with peers. And as a teacher, it's important to recognize how that affects mental health, development, and learning abilities. A classroom should be a supportive environment where students feel comfortable and accepted, and the teacher in the room is the key part of creating that environment.
Based off of question 2, what is your response?
I think it's important for teachers to help children build confidence, independence, critical thinking skills, teamwork, kindness, and a knowledge of boundaries and how to set them. In my opinion, these are all things good leaders should have. These are things that you can start teaching in toddlerhood, which is where early childhood educators should be stepping in. Once children start school, then teachers take on this role to continue building on the foundation that should be set by parents and caregivers that came before. If all children can start learning these skills at an early age, then the classroom environment as they grow would be more positive, inclusive, and accepting of everybody's differences.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello, could you introduce yourself and your discipline?
Hi, I'm Alexander Torres, and I'm an electrical engineering student at the University of Alberta. Currently this summer, I'm working as a project and operations manager for an urban expansion company. The typical careers in my field are pretty vast, so like energy, defense, computer systems, and project management. And personally, I want to pursue a career in aerospace since my interest lies within the stars and just space overall. And some fields of study that we interact with are other engineering fields and also business, communications, education, and other social work, since these connections are very important on like large-scale projects that really affect communities.
Based on question 1, what would your response be?
From an engineering student's perspective, I've seen how much of an impact teachers can have. The way they apply learning theories determines how I stay engaged, motivated, and confident in my abilities. Good teaching strategies really create a space where students can feel supported and inspired, and which also helps me and others connect what we learn in real life situations, and so we can both grow academically and personally.
Based on question 2, what would your response be?
I believe that teachers play a huge role in shaping how students view leadership. When educators model and encourage collaboration through team projects and open discussions, it really shows students that leadership isn't just about taking charge, but also lifting others up. So by creating these environments where every voice matters, education and teachers can really inspire students to become leaders.
Thank you.
Thank you.